We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Trump survives an assassination attempt. Hillary Clinton violated campaign finance laws. Consumer sentiment drops. The UN harbors terrorists, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. Former President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Saturday evening. Trump said Sunday that God prevented the unthinkable from happening. The Secret Service shot and killed the suspected gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. One spectator was killed and two others were critically injured after multiple shots were fired, the Secret Service said on social media. Trump's campaign said the former president is fine, and Trump himself confirmed on Sunday that he will speak at the GOP convention this week. President Biden said there is no place in America for this sort of violence. It's sick. The two men spoke by phone. Crooks used a firearm that had been purchased by his father, and explosive devices were found in the car he was driving, according to people familiar with the investigation. Law enforcement are trying to determine a motive and how this could have happened at what should have been a highly secure event. Representative Jared Golden, the Democrat from Maine, penned a lengthy thread on X about the hyperbole in American politics, urging politicians to stop framing their opponents as fascists. We can start by dropping hyperbolic threats about the stakes of this election, he wrote. It should not be misleadingly portrayed as a struggle between democracy or authoritarianism or a battle against fascists or socialists bent on destroying America. These are dangerous lies. Elon Musk wrote on X, I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. The world's richest person had reportedly donated to a super PAC working to re-elect Trump, but hadn't given a public endorsement until after the shooting. Hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman also endorsed Trump and promised a long-form post to explain his thinking. Ackman is best known in recent days for standing up to universities against anti-Semitism. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel said that the United Nations Relief and Works Agencies for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, also known as UNRWA, is hiring 100 terrorists and asked the group to fire them right away. Ambassador Amir Weisbrod wrote in the July 4th letter that having terrorists from Hamas working for UNRWA has been a recurring concern for Israeli officials. However, the full scope of this unprecedented infiltration was unknown and became clear only after the October 7th terrorist attack on Israel, in which, as you know, UNRWA employees actively participated, Weisbrod said. In recent months, Israel has discovered that hundreds of terrorists, members of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, have been employed by UNRWA in the Gaza Strip, some of them holding high-ranking positions in the organization or in Hamas. China on Thursday came out swinging at NATO, accusing it of posing an enormous danger to the world after the alliance labeled Beijing a decisive enabler of Russia's war in Ukraine. The communiqué, approved by all 32 NATO members and released Wednesday, was the most strongly worded stance the alliance has taken against Beijing and its position backing Russia since the war began more than 2 years ago. But Beijing did not take lightly to being listed in the NATO document as a large-scale supporter for Russia's defense industrial base. Wherever NATO shows up, turmoil and chaos will follow, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Lin Jian said in a briefing Thursday. NATO's so-called security is more often than not built on others' insecurity, and a lot of its security anxieties are self-made. The success and strength boasted by NATO means enormous danger to the world, he added, further accusing the alliance of creating imaginary enemies. Consumers' optimism about the economy fell to an 8-month low in July over frustration with high prices, even though they expect inflation to slow over the next year. The first reading of the Consumer Sentiment Index in July dropped to 66.0 from 68.2 in June, the University of Michigan said Friday. It was the fourth decline in a row and the weakest reading since November. The index also stands well below a pre-pandemic reading of 101 from February 2020. Nearly half of consumers still object to the impact of high prices, even as they expect inflation to continue moderating in the years ahead, said Index Director Joanne Hsu. The Consumer Price Index hit negative 0.1%, marking the first decrease in inflation since 2020. But the Producer Price Index inflation in the United States rose to 2.6%, according to the latest release by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics on Friday. The Producer Price Index is a leading indicator of the Consumer Price Index. The Washington, D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals said last week that the 2016 Hillary Clinton campaign and a super PAC that was connected to it broke federal election law by spending almost $6 million. The amount in question is more than 45 times the $130,000 that former President Donald Trump was found guilty of lying about in his business records during the same 2016 campaign. Regarding the Clinton campaign case, the D.C. Circuit found the super PAC, Correct the Record, set out to engage in a wide range of coordinated activities to support Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. In an administrative complaint filed with the Federal Election Commission, nonprofit watchdog Campaign Legal Center alleges that Correct the Record spent close to $6 million in coordination with the Clinton campaign during the lead-up to the 2016 election, including to conduct polls, hire teams of round-the-clock fact-checkers, and connect Clinton media surrogates with radio and television news outlets, the court said. It is illegal under federal election law for a super PAC to coordinate with any campaign. Two icons of the 1980s, Dr. Ruth Westheimer and Richard Simmons, died on Saturday. Known simply as Dr. Ruth, the sex therapist rose to fame with her syndicated talk show Sexually Speaking. Westheimer went on to host a slew of television programs where she candidly discussed sexual issues that were considered taboo. She was 96. Simmons was a fitness guru who won 4 daytime Emmys for his health-focused Richard Simmons show. He also starred in popular home workout videos, perhaps none more well-known than 1988's Sweatin' to the Oldies. He had just celebrated his 76th birthday on Friday. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.